Good day, grade 8 learners! Welcome back to my science vlog class. As a continuation of the topic in potential energy, I will be discussing now the topic for kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of a moving object. It comes from Greek word kinetikos, means movement. When stored energy is being used up, it is making things move or happen. Examples of kinetic energy are shown in your screen. The faster the object moves, the more kinetic energy is produced. The greater the mass and speed of an object, the more kinetic energy there will be. Let's check this example. When these objects move at the same speed, which will have more kinetic energy? The first picture or the second picture? If your answer is the first picture, you are correct. Because the semi-truck has more mass, therefore, more kinetic energy. Remember, when the mass is doubled and velocity is constant, the kinetic energy is doubled. When the mass is constant and velocity is doubled, the kinetic energy is increased 4 times. Another example, a water bottle is knocked off a desk. When does the bottle have the most kinetic energy? A. At the top of the fall, B. In the middle of the fall, or C. At the bottom of fall. If your answer is letter C, then you are correct because it has the most kinetic energy when its movement and speed are greatest, which is at the bottom of the fall, right before it hits the ground. When an object has the least potential energy is when it has the most kinetic energy. When does the train on this roller coaster have the most potential energy? The answer will be at the very top. The higher the train is lifted by the motor, the more potential energy is produced. At the top of the hill, the train has a huge amount of potential energy, but it has a very little amount of kinetic energy. As the train accelerates down the hill, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. There is a very little potential energy at the bottom of the hill, but there is a great amount of kinetic energy. Same with the potential energy. We can calculate also the kinetic energy using this formula. Ke is equal to 1/2 mv squared, wherein Ke stands for kinetic energy, m stands for mass, and v stands for velocity. We can also use Ke is equal to mv squared divided by 2, or Ke is equal to 1/2 mv squared. All of those formulas are the same. The unit used for kinetic energy is joule, wherein 1 joule is equal to 1 kilogram meter squared per second squared. In kinetic energy is equal to mass, which measured in kilogram, and unit for velocity, that is meter per seconds. Then you're going to square it. That's why we have the unit of meter squared per second squared. So when you combine all those units, it will become kilogram, meter squared per second squared, or joules. It was named after James Prescott Joule as he discovered the relationship between heat and mechanical work, which led to the law of conservation of energy. Let's try this sample problem. A 4-kilogram ball is thrown with a velocity of 9.5 meter per second. What is the kinetic energy of the ball? Given mass is equal to 4 kilogram, velocity is equal to 9.5 meter per second, and kinetic energy is unknown. Now, let's proceed on the formula. Formula is equal to 1/2 mv squared. Solution. Kinetic energy is equal to 1/2. Multiply it to 4 kilogram and multiply it to the squared of 9.5 meter per second. So, let's answer first all the numbers and quantities inside the parentheses. So, kinetic energy is equal to 1/2, multiply it to 4 kilogram, then multiply it to the squared of 9.5, which is 90.25 meters squared per second squared. Then, kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 and the product of 4 kilogram, then 90.25 meters squared per second squared. So, the answer would be 361 kilogram meters squared per second squared. Then, multiply it to 1, divide by 2. The answer will be 180.5 kilogram meters squared per second squared, or joules. Another example. Determine the kinetic energy of a 1,000 kilogram roller coaster car that is moving with a speed of 20 meter per second. So, given 1,000 kilogram for mass, speed is 9.5 meter per second, and kinetic energy is the unknown. The formula for kinetic energy is kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mv squared. Solution. Kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 times 1,000 kilogram times 20 meter per second then squared. Then 1/2 times 1,000 kilogram times the squared of 20, which is 400 meters squared per second squared. And then, 1/2, multiply to the product of 1,000 and 400, that is equivalent to 400,000 kilogram meters squared per second squared. Then get the 1/2 of 400,000, that is equivalent to kinetic energy is equal to 200,000 kilogram meters squared per second squared, or kinetic energy is equal to 200,000 joules. To check your understanding, let's have this quiz. I'm giving you only 10 minutes in answering this quiz. So that's all for today's lesson. Thank you, grade 8 students. I hope you learned something. For more videos to discuss, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more updates in our latest vlog class.